We told Tank Nation to be careful what they wish for. 2-0 with the new
hell,
guys. 3-1.
What the hell is going on down at the A's? Paul Jones joins you. Jonesy, what's up?
It happens. You have role players that, look, organizations tank, players don't. And you have guys like a guy like Greivis Vasquez, just watch him play. The kid loves to play ball. He's making money playing in the NBA. He'd be the guy out in the park at like 10 o'clock and leave to go and eat dinner at 6 and come back at 8 o'clock until the lights are on. He just loves to play. And the team, when the trade was made in LA, everybody's like, oh, the tank is on. No, it's not. They're better now. They move the ball better. They have role players more conducive to playing that way. And DeMar DeRozan is the guy that gets the ball. And the fact that he knows he's going to get it back and it's being shared and he's the main guy, he's giving it up. Look at his assist numbers the last little while. So they're better. They're better right now. And it's not what Tank Nation wants to hear. They're going to, I refer to the Richard Pryor skit when Harold Washington won the mayor of Chicago, right? I won the blank. I wasn't supposed to. I won the blank. Like that's, the East is so bad that everybody's trying to do the same thing. You might not be able to back your way through the pack into the lottery. And it'll be up on .ca later. You may have to look at Plan B, boys.
Right now, who's got a better chance of making the playoffs, Greivis Vasquez or Tony Romo?
Greivis Vasquez.
Oh my! And I kind of agree with you.
Oh my!
My God!
Hey,
yeah, this is
what is going on? What is going on here?
Yesterday, Tony Romo thought they were wearing green, like the billboard in Tampa years ago when Vinny Testaverde was throwing interceptions. They had a picture of a New York Jets green up there and said, "Vinny thinks this is orange."
It's not easy being green.
What you're saying here, though, is think about. I don't know if you can outside in this, Jonesy, but think about what you're saying. The Raptors got rid of a guy making $18 million, replaced him with 4 pieces, and got better.
Because that guy who was making $18 million felt the weight of his $18 million contract, felt he had to do everything, and a product of a generation where you make the money and you got to be the man. He tried to, and it was, while it helped the team at times, it hurt them at times, and when the ball's, I played, I can tell you, when you don't think you're going to get the ball back and you get your paws on it, then, man, you go Sammy Suburban. You start dribbling and you start jacking shots because you might not get it back. And now the ball is being shared. Guys aren't afraid that they're not going to get it back, and they're actually playing better. And that has, Dwayne Casey said, it has nothing to do with Rudy. Well, it has everything to do with Rudy in a sense, but when he was there, he was trying to be the guy to get it done for his team, and that was actually counterproductive and making them worse than better. And it wasn't malicious or selfish, just the way he was wired with all the other factors.
He has played well in Sacramento, though. I'll throw that out there.
Rudy was 10 of 20 last night.
Both games over, and he was 8 of 12, I think, in his first game.
Raptor fans driving and listening, don't drive off the road. Rudy Gay was 10 of 20 last night.
That's what he was in his first little while in Toronto, too. Go look at the numbers in February when he got here. Really good. And, at the end of the year, maybe the fact that there was nothing to play for, the ball was being shared, and that starting group with Rudy, DeMar, Kyle, Jonas, Amir was really good, and it just never got off the mat this year.
Paul Jones here on Tim and Sid. Jonesy, the Kyle Lowry thing is still floating. Obviously, this is a guy who's very tradable for all the obvious reasons, final year contract. But I'll say this, Jonesy, and you can speak more to it than me. He is not acting like a guy who could be gone any second. I think from a professionalism standpoint, I've been very, very impressed with Kyle Lowry, and not just his actual stats and whatnot. There was a moment in Chicago. I think it was Jonas. Somebody had a call not go their way. Someone on the court wasn't happy, and they wanted to piss and moan at the ref. Kyle was the first guy off the bench, gave him a pat on the back, said, "Don't worry, big fella, you got it." I'm really impressed with how Kyle's carrying himself here.
Well, because, look, he wants to win. He is a competitor. I think he understands the situation he's in now, too. If he's going to be moved, there are 29 other teams watching. There are probably a third of that, 6 or 7, that considered themselves potential contenders for a championship that are watching. So he's on audition, and he's on his, quote, best behavior. But look, the kid has come to camp a little bit better. He understands. I think they made it clear to Kyle what they expect from him, and he's trying to put that out there, not just for this team, but for any suitors that might be watching. So, and Sid, you're right. Why wouldn't he be an asset? I mean, his money wasn't as much as Jose's last year, but a veteran guy who could be a solid help, a solid backup on a contending team that has an expiring contract. That's an asset right there. So, the fact that people are surprised that he might be moved, yeah, you can spend that money at the end of the year, but if you're willing to make a move and get a deal for him, a good deal for him, then you can get some pieces to help you move forward.
Jonesy, before we look forward to Charlotte and then, I guess, 8 of the next 10 on the road.
It's a hell of a schedule coming up.
I want to talk about the Chicago Bulls for a split second because they are very intriguing to me right now. They got Derrick Rose out of the lineup. They got Luol Deng in the final year of his deal. They have an amnesty possibility, I guess, with Carlos Boozer, and he only has 1 year left on his deal. And now I'm hearing rumors that they could trade their coach. What the heck is going on? And do they somehow think that they can catch the magic that San Antonio caught and maybe tank for the rest of this season? And while David Robinson was hurt, they ended up with the first overall pick and got Tim Duncan in San Antonio. Are the Bulls about to try and do that?
Hey, everybody in the East is trying. Everybody who doesn't see themselves as a championship contender. I mean, look at the standings. I mean, even teams that are. I mean, you take a team like Phoenix that's not supposed to be good this year. They're playing well, but you got to know in the end
they're not good enough.
No, and so why not? If this is a year where it's not just one guy, and if all the reports and everybody that says it believes that there are maybe 3 or 4 guys, then you got a chance to get one. Why wouldn't you? But I'll say this,
trade
fellas.
the bet. Like, there's rumors they could trade what some people consider to be the best coach in the NBA right now.
I'll say this: Chicago, and that's news because the Chicago Bulls, I don't believe, have made a trade per se in 4 years.
Yeah.
I think the last trade, I remember reading this last week at some point, I think the last trade they made was James Johnson to Toronto.
Weren't they close to the Boozer move as well?
Yeah, but
that was close.
Close, but that's like Sid being at the buffet table.
No, there's no close. I'm taking care of business.
All over.
There's
like
are you kidding me?
Kid on a Smartie.
Oh, you're gonna have to pull me away from that fried shrimp. Are you kidding me?
Fried shrimp, really?
Oh, I got some interesting calls. I have an interesting buffet strategy.
Okay,
we should discuss it one day.
One day.
Jonesy, the Amir Johnson is clearly blossoming here with Rudy out of the fold.
Yeah.
Well, because the screen roll game is back.
Yeah.
Right. And you got a guy like Vasquez who hasn't played it with him, but they both understand the screen roll game, where to be, how to play it, and how to work together. That's the beauty of it, guys. It's like playing in the park. You got guys that understand what to do and how to play, and that's what's happening right now. The screen roll game is back, and I'm watching DeMar come off pin downs with Amir Johnson on those wide pin downs near the sideline. DeMar catches, drives to the middle. There's a great angle, the pocket pass for Amir, and he's got a layup. That's happening regularly, and I think that's what you're seeing now. With Rudy gone and the ball moving, the roll game is back, especially for Amir Johnson.
If you're building long term, is this a guy you want, Jonesy? Is Amir a guy who you'd want part of your plan?
Yeah, a guy who works hard, a kid who you really don't need to run any plays for. He's one of the top offensive rebounders. Look at his field goal percentage. He doesn't take bad shots. So I would think that you would be inclined to keep him, although, he's got an option this year. And if you want to get under the cap and really get down and have money, do you decline his option, or do you try to make a different kind of deal with him? But he's a kid that I would definitely hang on to going forward.